Chapter 270 Lambs and Wolves, in Muslim Societies, Part 5. The Hamid swimming cuisine is the most attractive place for lovers in the capital city. It is a big floating boat being harbored near the river bank. It is marvelously decorated. Chairs are arranged 2 by 2. Only red lights are switched on. Every couple who are seeking privacy and decent entertainment will find no suitable place as the swimming cuisine. When the 4 friends walked in, they stood still and said in unison, "Wow!" The waiter at once approached them and requested them in whispering to take their seats and be quiet. Sami and Intisar occupied the first table they came across, while Salah and Firdaus moved 4 tables away and sat. When Intisar overcame her wonder, she whispered to Sami and said, "It is just like a dreamland. I can't believe such a wonderful place is in Sudan." "Me too. Do you remember where we used to meet in Al-Gadarif?" "Yes, I do. In the open streets where everybody's eyes were on us. See the big difference between the 2 cities." "Sami, do you think when we get married we will have a better honeymoon than what we are enjoying now?" "Yes, we will. You know, Intisar, when we get married I am going to take you around the world to see the 7 wonders of the world." "What are the 7 wonders of the world?" "They are the pyramids in Egypt, the hanging gardens of Babylon, the statue of Zeus in Greece, the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy, the Great Wall of China, the Taj Mahal in India, and the Statue of Liberty in America." "Really, Sami, you will take me to all these countries?" "Yes, I will, and I will prove to you that you are more wonderful than all those wonders." As the Mughal Emperor, Shah Jahan had built the Taj Mahal in memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal, so I will build for you another palace in Sudan. Even more beautiful and marvelous than the one in India. We shall live in that palace forever. "Yes, we will. Please, Sami, let us remain in this city forever. It is meant for lovers. I don't want to go back to that hostile surrounding. Everybody in that city hates us. I promise you, as soon as we get married we will move to this wonderful city. I love you, Sami. I love you too, Intisar." Sami waited for his beloved to continue, but no words proceeded out of her lips anymore. He looked at her face. She closed her eyes. He saw the cool breezes playing with her left hair. He put his hand on her hair and began to smooth it. He can hear her breathing. He touched her cheek. He can hear the beating of her heart. He continued to feel her cheek. They remained silent in that awesome moment. Sami drew near to her ears and began to whisper romantic words in her soul. When those words failed to contain his powerful love for her, his lips met her lips. She responded to him and her soul began to satisfy her deep love for him. In that love intimacy they continued to drink from their fountain of love for very long time. It is Intisar who came out of that love rapture first. With sleepy eyes and dreaming head she asked Sami about the time. But, before he can answer her question he saw she put her hand on her head and opened her eyes wide in surprise. Sami followed where her eyes are staring and he is surprised to see the newly formed friends are having their love intimacy too. "What to be done, Sami? I think we have to take it easy. Just to ignore it, without trying to find out whether they are serious or not. Of course, we must find out that, but we have to do it wisely and lovingly. Also don't forget that love has no time or condition to begin. Do you trust your friend? I have known Salah for the past 4 years. We lived together in the same hostel. I know him as a decent person. When he commits himself to a cause he remains faithful to the end. In your own words, I trust him to be my sister's friend." When everybody slept that night, Firdaus alone remained awake meditating upon her life. She used to believe in some fixed principles. Those principles made her to believe that she is a woman created for one specific purpose. To get married and have children. She has to obey her husband and make him happy. If she failed in her duties, her husband will divorce her and get married to another woman. She must be careful not to lose her husband. She must cook his food, wash his clothes, clean his house, and take care of his children. Also she must be an object of his enjoyment. When she grew old he is allowed by those principles to marry another woman who is younger and more useful to him than her. Her role as a wife is over. But she met a person who renewed her thoughts. He changed her understanding of life. He taught her the true meaning of love and the aim of marriage. He told her that she will be his friend and life partner and not just a wife. He will love her when she is young and beautiful, and he will continue to love her and remain faithful to her when she grew old. When Firdaus remembered those beautiful thoughts and promises which had been put in her mind by Salah, she knew that inside her a new person is born. She fell asleep and had a beautiful dream. The last day of the honeymoon began at 10 a.m., at the breakfast time. The two sisters narrated to Frida how they had enjoyed their sightseeing with Sami. No mention of Salah is made. Also, the wonderful time they spent with their lovers at the swimming cuisine is omitted, and instead of that they said they saw an interesting movie at the Friendship Hall cinema. When the breakfast is over they wished their sister a good day and left with Sami. While they are in the taxi a dispute arose between Sami and Intisar. "Please Sami, take us to the zoo again," said Intisar. "I am sorry honey, our program is set for the day. We have many places to visit. Please Sami, I want to see those lovely monkeys." "I am sorry honey, I can't help it." When Intisar saw Sami is determined in his decision she got annoyed. Sami tried hard to please her but he couldn't. Consequently, the newly married couple had their first quarrel. When they got out of the taxi she is not talking with him. Sami withdrew his decision up and agreed to start the day with the lovely monkeys. Salah is already waiting for them as planned in front of the zoo. When he saw them he approached them with a big smile on his face. His hair is nicely cut. His shoes are shining. He put on new attire. He looked like a bridegroom who came to receive his bride. When he shook hands with them they smelled a very nice perfume. "Today," said Sami laughingly, "not Intisar and myself alone, but all of us will be mistaken for newly married couples." "You are a very optimistic man," said Salah. "Anyway, I have made some arrangements for the day. I have booked the tickets for the movie at the Blue Nile Cinema and reserved 2 cabins for the dinner at the Hilton Hotel." "Don't tell me you have done all that," said Sami. "Why have you spent so much on us? It is still very little for people as dear as you are. In fact we don't know how to express our thanks to you Salah." Actually, those last words are spoken by the very person for whom Salah spent so much money. So, those beautiful and most penetrating words fell like the dew of heaven in his heart. "Sami, your friend as generous as you," said Intisar. Whether Intisar said that as thanksgiving to Sami or Salah is hard to say, but that statement reconciled her to her boyfriend. When they entered the zoo she whispered in Sami's ear and said, "I think your friend has fallen headlong in love with the sulky girl." "No doubt about it," said Sami. "Now I am sure they are as genuine as we are. No spying or interfering in their affair anymore. Do you think they are going to face many problems like us?" "I don't think so. I know that Salah lost his father when he is just a very small boy. He was brought up by his uncle. His uncle is very good man. I met him many times and had a talk with him. He is not the kind of person who forces people to do what he likes. There is nothing to worry about." After that talk, Sami and Intisar gave Salah and Firdaus full freedom to walk together, to talk together, and to plan their future together. Intisar shifted her attention from human affair to animal affair. "Do you know Sami, the animals in this zoo are happier and free than us." "What made you to say that?" "Of course, we are rational beings and hence understand and enjoy our lives better than the animals." "Not at all Sami," said Intisar thoughtfully, "there is no rich and poor among the animals. They can fall in love with one another and there are no social barriers to separate them. Their parents don't choose their life partners. One animal does not have 2 or 3 or 4 wives. They don't divorce their wives as human beings often do. Moreover, they don't force a young animal female to marry an old animal male. While Intisar is making her contrast between the happy animals and the sad human beings, Sammy saw her tears rolling down her cheeks. He had never seen her weeping before. He understood that she is feeling insecure. Her tears filled his heart with sorrow. He felt that she needs not only his love but his protection too. He whispered in her ears saying, "Have you forgotten so quickly our vow?" She opened her eyes and looked at him. Her tears ceased, and a beautiful smile parted her lips. Sammy is about to kiss her, but she drew herself back and reminded him that they are in a public place. The time of privacy had yet to come. Nonetheless, he pressed her hands, passing the strong passion to her heart. She blushed and looked down. "Intisar," said Sammy, "never think or imagine that in this world there is a power or authority that can separate us. Our love for each other is stronger than any resisting power." From the zoo, the 4 friends went to the American restaurant to have their lunch. Salah, being the host, brought the menu and read it loudly so that everyone can choose his favorite dish. He turned to Intisar and asked her to choose first. She felt shy and looked down. He repeated the same request to her sister. Firdaus too felt embarrassed and changed color. Salah understood that the 2 sisters most probably had never heard of those names before. He turned to Sammy and said, "You have to choose for yourself and Intisar, as for me and Firdaus, we will eat pizza." "We will eat pizza too," said Sammy. According to their schedule, the lovers are supposed to spend 1 hour at the restaurant, but somehow the time had deceived them and hence they took 2½ hours to tenderly place morsels of food in each other's mouth. The dessert again took another half an hour to pass from the lovers' spoons to their beloved lips. In spite of the delay, none of them had noticed or complained about the long time they spent at the American restaurant. At 5 p.m., the 4 friends stood in front of the restaurant wondering what to do with the remaining 1 hour. They cannot possibly in 1 hour visit the Palace Garden, the Youth and Children Palace, and the Ghost Room. The list had been spoiled by Intisar's request to visit the zoo and the delay at the lunch time. Intisar once again requested them to take her to her sweet friends at the zoo, but Sammy strongly stood against her desire. "How can I allow you to go again to those animals which caused you to shed tears? Please, Sammy, don't speak unjustly against the innocent animals. They are not the ones who made me to weep, but my own fellow beings who are inferior to them in their way of living caused my grief." When she finished her words, Sammy again saw the tears gush out of her eyes. He drew near to her and whispered in her ears, "Not only to the zoo, even if you want to visit the moon I will take you there." When the 4 friends went to the animal zoo again, they are not able to go around due to the heat and hence spent the hour sitting under a shade of a tree. The Blue Nile Cinema is known as the Khartoum University Cinema. The second name had many reasons. First of all, the cinema is located near the university hostel. Most of the visitors are the university students. Secondly, most of the movies shown there are difficult for the common people to understand. Thirdly, the tickets fares are sky high for the ordinary people to afford. For Sammy and Salah, the cinema is not a new place. They had been there many times. But, that day is different because they walked for the first time, inside the hall with their pretty girlfriends. So, they wish to be seen by other students while they are holding hands with their beautiful girls. That desire is fulfilled when they heard a voice calling Salah's name. Sammy and Intisar continued to walk, while Salah, with much pride and dignity, stopped and his girlfriend automatically stopped with him. He turned behind to see that best friend who spotted him in such a time as this. Firdaus too turned her face to see the best friend of her boyfriend. But alas, he is none other than Walid Hamza, one of her ex-lovers. Salah proudly said to Walid, "Meet my girlfriend Firdaus Ibrahim." After that he turned to his beloved and said, "This is Walid Hamza, one of my best friends at the university." Firdaus, being caught up in love cheating, is perplexed. Her disturbed mind began to form many ideas for escape. Starting from that idea in which a person will wish the earth will open up and swallow him, or that he had not been born to face a moment as this, or the ceiling will fall on him. When she realized that none of those fancies can possibly happen, she is compelled to face the situation. She looked first to her ex-lover and to her new lover and said, "I know Walid Hamza. He is our neighbor." After that she turned her face and walked away with her new lover, leaving behind the rejected lover standing as a statue. Every one of the lovers enjoyed the movie except Firdaus. Her conscience kept troubling her throughout the movie. She is struggling with the question, how she can easily walk out of the life of a person that loved her for such a long time. She had received many gifts from him. She knew very well that he loved her. He told her many times that he will grant her wish, and will take her to Khartoum and show her the beautiful places. His wish at last is fulfilled, but with somebody else who claimed to be her boyfriend. What shocking news it will be for Zahir, when Walid exposes her to him. She desperately wished that she can cancel the trip back to the city of Al-Gadarif. How can she show her face again to Walid and Zahir? How can she surface out of that critical situation? Will she tell Salah the truth? What will Salah think of her after she had already informed him that she indeed had no boyfriend? The movie began and the movie finished, but Firdaus' limited understanding did not allow her to comprehend the content of the film. When the movie is over, Salah is shocked to see his beloved in tears. "Firdaus," shouted Salah, "what has happened to you? Why are you weeping?" Firdaus didn't answer his question, but continued to weep. When he insisted to know the reason, she promised to reveal to him an important secret about her life at the Hilton Hotel. The last day in Khartoum for the two sisters so far is not a very good one, because both had shed tears. The last visit will decide whether it should be called honey or bitter. At 9 p.m., the four friends took a taxi from the cinema to the hotel. It is a 20 minutes drive. The hotel restaurant is on the 25th floor. Intisar and Firdaus had never been inside an elevator before. Their wonder started from there. Each one of them held tightly her lover's hand, not due to affection, but fear. When the elevator reached the restaurant, all four stepped out of it. They are amazed by the splendor of the wonderful sight. Intisar is the first person to express her wonder. "What amazing beauty! Do you think paradise is going to be more wonderful than this place?" Not one of the other three had paid attention to her remarks. They are all standing as statues and staring at the awesome sight of the city at night. They are looking through the windows' glasses into the city below them. They can see the Blue Nile and the White Nile meeting together at Al-Mugran and forming the River Nile. Over there, they can see also the Tudi Island, Al-Mugran Cuisine, Al-Nil Street, Durman Bridge, Hamid Swimming Cuisine, and the river bank. They recollected to memory the wonderful time they had spent in those beautiful sights. They felt that they are flying over the city and seeing its splendid beauty by night. "Sammy," whispered Intisar, with dazzling eyes and musical voice, "let us fly over the city and let us visit all those places where we have been together. We shall be flying forever. We shall never come back to earth. We shall make the moon our dwelling place and the stars our habitation. We will be free forever." While Intisar is speaking those poetic verses, Sammy saw her face is glowing with beauty. "Intisar," said Sammy, "you are more beautiful than the moon, the stars, and this wonderful sight. I see the whole world's beauty concentrated in you." While the newly married couple are engaged in that love rapture, Salah and Firdaus disappeared inside their cabin. They are in great hurry to discuss the important secret that caused Firdaus to shed tears. Now darling, said Salah, we are all alone. Open your heart and reveal your secret to me. Firdaus is encouraged by those words and hence decided to get rid of the burden that she is carrying from the time she met Walid Hamza. But fear gripped her heart when she thought of what Salah's reaction will be to her secret. Firdaus, if you hide this secret from me we can't build up a good friendship. A love that is built on trust, clarity and openness will last. Those words forced Firdaus to open her mouth and pour out her heart. 2 years ago, said Firdaus softly, while her tears began to fall again, a boy sent to me a small note in which he mentioned that he liked me and wanted to be my friend. So, I understood that he loved me. Whenever he arrived from Khartoum he used to bring gifts for me. Many times he told me that there is something that he wished me to know, but he thought that I was not of the appropriate age. What is your age when he sent that note to you? I was 13 years old. What did you think that he was going to tell you when you reach the right age? That he wishes me to marry him. But, what made you to cry at the movie? Have you seen anything that convicted you of your mistake? Yes, Walid Hamza. He is Zahir's friend. Who is Zahir? He is the boy I am talking about. You mean your boyfriend? He is not my boyfriend. What is he to you? I just used to admire him. Why have you got annoyed when you saw Walid? Because Walid too is under the impression that I love him. Had he also told you that he liked you? Yes, he sent to me a letter last year and told me he loves me. Have you replied to his letter? Not at all. But, his sister told me that he asked his parents to propose on his behalf. What did you tell her when she told you that? I just laughed. So you didn't make any commitment to him? Not at all, but I did accept his gifts. You made him to believe, as you did to Zahir, that you were in love with him too. Now you have made me also to think that you are in love with me. When Salah spoke those words, Firdaus felt the ground on which she is sitting has been removed, and she is falling off. She began to cry for help. Salah is moved by her crying. He put his hand on her head and began to comfort her. I am deeply sorry Firdaus if I have hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to be rude to you. Still I love you. Believe me Salah, said Firdaus sobbing, yesterday before I met you, I decided to end my friendship with Zahir and Walid. When I saw the way Sami and Intisar love each other I understood that my feelings towards Zahir and Walid is not of a true nature. It is just affection. I decided to look for the person that I can love with all my heart. When I saw you yesterday I felt you are the one. Wherefore, I responded to your love. Firdaus, I know your love to me is genuine. But, let us see a way out of the problem of Zahir and Walid. Whatever you want me to do to convince them that I am not in love with them, that I will do. Very good. That is what you should do. As soon as you go back to Al-Gadarif you must write to them and explain your feelings towards them. Also, don't forget to tell them that you are in love with me. I promise you to do that as soon as I reach home. When the sulky girl made her promise to Salah she felt great relief from the heavy burden that she is carrying in her heart from the time she saw Walid Hamza. She felt Salah's hand began to wipe away the traces of her repenting tears. In fact he had not only wiped away the tears, but he brought healing to her injured heart. Sami and Intisar are still soaring in their love trance. Sami, said Intisar after being intoxicated with the power of love, I am serious. Let us fly over the city. I am full of love tonight. I know my love for you will keep me from falling. Let us visit those wonderful places where we poured out our love. Intisar, said Sami, let this unique night be witness for my words. My love for you will be forever. It is the blood that runs in my veins. It is the breath that keeps me alive. My love for you, Sammy has become too much for my heart to contain. I want to fly over this city and shout that I love you." When Intisar said those last words, she lost her strength and fell on Sammy's hands. Sammy carried her on his arms and entered their cabin. He helped her to sit on a chair. When he looked into her eyes, he understood that she is neither unconscious nor sleeping but drunk. Her eyes are looking at him and her lips are uttering words that he cannot understand. Her face is glowing with beauty. Her eyes are shining with innocence. Her lips are dripping honey. He took her in his arms and began to kiss her. She responded to him. On that rapture, the newly married couple continued to kiss each other until Salah and Firdaus knocked at their cabin door.